Today, I thanked her 1,000 times over that she saved me from that godless humanism which was taught in public school. So we had many other things happening in our government. We had the Equal Rights Amendment for women. Oh, it sounded so good, but when the war started and they started drafting our young girls, and a lot of girls were at the end of the year, they had to serve a compulsive in the labor force. They had pre-military training, and then they were put into the Signal Corps and as anti-aircraft gunners. When the notices start coming back that they were wounded and killed, we realized that the Equal Rights Amendment, the frosting on the cake, and the cake was so rotten underneath. Also, Hitler nationalized our good health care. We had excellent health care before Hitler by private insurance. We had very good hospitals, very good doctors. That all stopped. Everybody would go to the doctor for anything and everything. My brother-in-law had a medical practice, and he said when he would come to his office in the morning, there were 40 patients waiting for him. And the practice, what he took very serious, he said it was like practicing medicine on a conveyor belt. And the government, all the rules and regulation. And he was a very conscientious doctor. He would only prescribe the real good medication what a patient would need. And if that type of medication was not on the government's list, since the doctors were all salaried by the government, they took that out of his pay. And his pay went dwindling down to almost nothing. And when my husband, who also was a doctor, saw that he would have to practice socialist medicine, he left the country and immigrated to the United States. And he marveled how wonderful our hospitals are, how modern, and what a good healthcare system we have. And needless to say, this is all going to change if the healthcare legislation goes through in Washington. How sad. In Austria, all the research stopped, and the many good doctors left the country. We also had hundreds and hundreds of bureaucrats, and those bureaucrats, they were our czars, and they wrote rules and regulations in everything, like the farm policy. They would go out on the farm and count the livestock, and everything, of course, when the war was placing, food was all rationed, and murder the farmer. If he kept a pig for himself, he would be put in jail. They also went out, the bureaucrats, to count the chicken, and literally ordered the chickens how many eggs they had to lay. We also had a federal police force, commonly known as the Gestapo, and they were everywhere. And it worked like this. If all the food was rationed, and we got 1 pound of sugar a month, and if somebody in your home, like grandma, passed away, and you quickly used her ration coupon to buy that pound of sugar, the next day the Gestapo would knock on your door and say, "We know that you did not turn in the food coupon by law, and you bought that pound of sugar. We are not going to arrest you, but you have to inform on your boss, on your neighbor, on all your friends, and you report to us once a week. And if you don't do that, then we will arrest you." So we had a network of informants everywhere. You couldn't trust your neighbor. We couldn't trust the mailman. We couldn't trust our friends. You couldn't trust anybody because they could be informants. Abortion